What's going on, guys, and welcome to my FPL Gameweek 15 team selection video. But of course, before we do get into that, let's have a quick review of how we performed in Gameweek 14. So as you guys can see, we managed to get a score of 70 points in Gameweek 14, which meant I got a small green arrow from around 1.2 million up to 1 million in the world, and that is now back-to-back green arrows. So hopefully this can continue, and hopefully we can carry on getting those green arrows. But guys, of course, I didn't post a Gameweek reaction video for Game Week 14, so we're going to include a small section quickly speaking about Game Week 14 and my team's performance. So yeah, 70 points, and the first thing I want to speak about is how lucky I got this week with Danny Welbeck not being included in the Brighton squad, because that meant I actually got Isak's 11 points off the bench, which is absolutely fantastic. But funnily enough, in my team selection video, I did actually say I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle do come away with a result. I wouldn't be surprised if Isak scores, and I did sort of suggest that I did kind of want to start Isak, but I didn't have big enough balls to do that. But hey, look, I got lucky. So yeah, thankfully we got Isak's 1 goal and 1 assist off the bench, and that's absolutely fantastic, man. What a goal it was, by the way. What an absolute finish that was. Yeah, a crazy game. And look, since we're speaking about Newcastle and Liverpool, Mohamed Salah, guys, Mohamed Salah is just absolutely inevitable. He's absolutely inevitable. Away to Newcastle, that is one of the hardest fixtures a team can play in a season, and he still comes away from that game with 18 points. He still comes away from that game getting 2 goals and 1 assist. Mo Salah is just the FPL GOAT, and it's as simple as that, bro. It's as simple as that. This man is absolutely inevitable, and I cannot believe he got 18 points, bro. Absolutely ridiculous. So, look, if you captain Mohamed Salah, you're absolutely laughing right now, because I feel like the majority of players, like myself, went for that Cole Palmer captain against Southampton. And look, I'm going to be honest, I feel like Cole Palmer was very unlucky to only walk away with 1 return from that game. I feel like he could have had 2, 3, 4 returns in that game. You know, he could have had a couple of goals, he could have had some assists. So yeah, in my opinion, really unlucky that Cole Palmer couldn't get closer to Salah in terms of the points that he got this week. But still, look, I'm going to be honest, man. At this moment in time, I feel like a lot of people are now just going to permanently captain Mohamed Salah, no matter who he plays against. Because I think that right now people are just thinking that he's just fixture proof. And they would be right to think that, because he's doing an like, he is just going, he's just ridiculous, right? Words cannot describe Mohamed Salah's form at the moment. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, another thing that I want to talk about is my new transfer. Is my new transferred in player for this week, which was or last week I should say, which was actually Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod Bowen blanked, and I genuinely feel like that was so unlucky. I watched the game, guys. I watched the game, and he genuinely could have had like an 18 to 20 pointer like Mohamed Salah. He genuinely could have scored 2, 3 goals. He genuinely could have had like 2 or 3 assists. It was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how on earth Jarrod Bowen blanked in that game. Absolutely ridiculous. The Leicester goalkeeper made some good saves, and look, Danny Ings, man, if he was just on the same wavelength as Jarrod Bowen, then yeah, Bowen would have had a couple of assists. But I'm not gonna lie, look, a lot of people I saw after that game, right, a lot of hindsight merchants were saying, oh, it was a stupid idea to transfer in Bowen. Why would you transfer in a player when West Ham are so crap? But I'm gonna be honest, don't let those hindsight merchants fool you. Don't let those hindsight merchants tell you that transferring in Bowen was a dumb decision. Guys, look, away to Leicester on paper is a great fixture, and I know West Ham have been poor, but let's not kid ourselves here. Wolves are a terrible team. Wolves are the 2nd bottom team in the Premier League, but yet everyone wants to put in players like Matheus Cunha. Why is that? Because Matheus Cunha was in form, and also because he's a good player. Now, with good fixtures, right, just like Wolves and Matheus Cunha, once the better fixtures came, Matheus Cunha started to produce points, right? Because he's a good player. And the same thing can apply to Bowen. We would assume that with the better fixtures that are coming up for West Ham, a good player like Bowen should be able to provide us good FPL points. And we were almost right. We were almost right, because as I said, he was so unlucky not to get any returns from that game. And on another day, he walks away with about 15 points from that game. No joke, guys. No joke. So look, in my opinion, yes, West Ham are a poor team, but let's be honest. Anyone who watched that game, even though West Ham are a crap team, I think we can all agree that West Ham actually deserved to win that game. Funnily enough, they got absolutely they lost the game 3-1. Fair enough. But on the balance of play, right, West Ham should have won that game. right? They had the better chances and they should have scored way more goals than Leicester. So look, in my opinion, I don't think taking out Obama for Bowen was a bad decision. I feel like we got pretty unlucky. And yeah, based off what I saw in the eye test, man, Bowen should have had a haul. He should have had a haul. But look, it's a one thing I will say is it's a sign of good things to come, in my opinion, with Jarrod Bowen, because I generally think that good fixtures breed form. And starting off with Leicester, right, the performance that Bowen put in was very, very good. He was picking up a lot of great spaces, getting into good positions to score goals and assist goals. So if he can keep that up, then the points will come. The points definitely will come. So I'm really comfortable and happy with bringing in Bowen. I think I did get pretty unlucky with that, but yeah, we also had Strand Larsen and 8 Nuri. I mean, 4-0, absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Wolves defense is terrible, right? And that's who Bowen is playing next, and we'll get onto that in a second. But yeah, Wolves defense is absolutely terrible. I'm not gonna lie. 4-0 was absolutely ridiculous. Yes, it was 2 own goals, but still Everton could have scored more. Mikalenko getting 11 points, by the way. Absolutely fantastic. He got a very jammy assist. That was a very lucky assist. So yeah, but look, I can't complain. I'll take what I can get. So yeah, we did get Mikalenko's 11 points. Unfortunately, Gabriel didn't play, wasn't included in the squad. And we got Greaves 1 point off the bench to replace Gabriel, which is very unfortunate because I think Gabriel would have scored, honestly, because the set pieces, right? In that Manchester United Arsenal game, Arsenal set pieces were absolutely ridiculously good. They were so good, and I think if Gabriel played that game, he probably would have walked away with at least 1 goal. I genuinely believe that because we know that Gabriel's Arsenal's biggest goal scoring threat, right? And yeah, the set pieces that Arsenal were putting in from the corners were just top tier. And I feel like if Gabriel started, he would have got the clean sheet points, but also I think he would have got a goal, right? So he could have been looking at 15 points from that game, but unfortunately we got Greaves off the bench, who hit the post as well against Crystal Palace, and did concede. So yeah, that is pretty unfortunate. We did obviously get a clean sheet from David Raya. Saka blanked, Smith Rowe blanked as well. Didn't really look that great against Brighton, but yeah, all in all, that is how the team did perform in Game Week 14, right? 70 points. It's not too bad. It's a small green arrow, but I hope this does continue. Anyways, guys, with that being said, that is a quick section of my thoughts and feelings on Game Week 14. Let's go ahead and move on to my Game Week 15 team selection. Alright, guys, so first things first, I do want to make it very clear that the plan for me this week is just to roll the transfer. I don't think I'll be making any transfers unless I get confirmation that a player in my team is injured. But with that being said, let's start things off with the goalkeeper and the defense. In goal, of course, we got David Raya, and then a back three of Gabriel, Nuri and Mazraoui comes back into the starting 11 this week. Now, of course, we got double Arsenal defense. I think for me, this is just a season set and forget, really. I like the double Arsenal defense. I think still Arsenal are top 2 defenses in the Premier League, and I think they'll get a lot of clean sheets this season. So yeah, I do plan on keeping Raya and Gabriel for the long term. Of course, Gabriel is still yellow flagged. However, I do expect him to play this week. I don't think his injury is that serious. I just think really that Arteta wanted to rest him against Manchester United, if I'm totally honest, because there is a lot of fixture congestion, and maybe Arteta saw this as a slightly easier game. I don't know, but I do expect Gabriel to be fit and ready to play against Fulham away on Sunday. So yeah, with that being said, Gabriel Reyes stays. If I do get confirmation though that Gabriel is injured and is most likely to miss the next game against Fulham, depending on the extent of the injury, I will take him out, or I might take out Greaves or Mikalenko instead and then start whoever I replace them with for Gabriel. So yeah, I'm just going to keep an eye on that one, but at the moment he's in the starting 11. Then we've also got 8 Nuri. I think 8 Nuri is, look, I'm going to be honest, I'm contemplating on whether or not I should be looking to sell him, right? Because the Wolves defense is just shocking, so bad, and probably one of the worst defenses in the Premier League, right? One of the worst defenses in the Premier League. But for me, I just look at 8 Nuri and think, okay, after this West Ham game, right, he's got Ipswich at home and then Leicester away. So I feel like because I've kept him for so long, I may as well just see it out and just keep him for the next 2 games after the West Ham game. And then maybe after Leicester away, then I get rid of him, right? Because after that, the fixture run is really, really tough. But at this moment in time, I do feel like I should just keep Aït-Nouri. As much as he is just underperforming right now, I think I should just keep him for the next 3. But yeah, I'm not really feeling confident this week, right? I think West Ham away is going to be a tricky game for Aït-Nouri in terms of getting a clean sheet. And I say this every week, literally every week I say this, guys. He's not in the team for the clean sheets. He's only in the team for the attacking returns. But even recently, he's not been getting those attacking returns. So it is a bit of a concern. But I think I'm just going to have to hold him for the next 3 games because the fixtures after West Ham are still so good. Yeah, and then we've also got Mazraoui. So hopefully Mazraoui does start this game for Manchester United. Nottingham Forest at home is a really nice fixture. A really nice fixture in my opinion. And I think Manchester United do look a lot better under Ruben Amorim. I feel like we keep the ball a lot better. And yes, we do give up some chances every now and then, right? But I still think as a collective unit, as a defensive unit, we are a lot better and a lot stronger than we were under Ten Hag, right? Under Ten Hag, we were conceding chances left, right and centre. Onana was getting tested every single minute of the game. However, I feel like we've reduced the amount of chances we will concede against teams. And I think Nottingham Forest at home is a decent fixture. And I think we are definitely capable of getting a clean sheet. So hopefully Mazraoui does start this game. I think he is probably Amorim's, favourite right centre-back at the moment. So yeah, I'm expecting him to start. Hopefully if he does start though, he doesn't get an early substitution, because that was an absolute killer last game week or last week against Everton, right? That substitution in the 55th minute was so annoying, right? So hopefully we don't see that happen again. Hopefully Mazraoui does make it past 60 minutes and hopefully we do get a clean sheet. But I do think on paper it's not a bad fixture at all. I know that Nottingham Forest are having a good season, but I still think against the sort of traditional top 6 teams, they kind of struggle a bit more, right? So I'm hoping that Mazraoui can get the job done. But yeah, this is the defence for this week. On the bench, we've got Greaves, who has got Bournemouth at home, and then Mikalenko, who's got Liverpool at home. I don't think I'll be starting any of these 2 players. So yeah, that's how the defence is looking. But with that being said, guys, let's move on to the midfield. So in midfield, we do have Bukayo Saka, Mohamed Salah, Cole Palmer, and Jarrod Bowen. And as you guys can see, I've got the captain's armband on Jarrod Bowen because that's what I'm feeling this week, bro. I'm not even trolling. I genuinely want to captain Jarrod Bowen this week, and I know that sounds crazy. And I know everyone is probably shouting through the screen and telling me to captain Mohamed Salah. But guys, this week for me, I feel like it's an opportunity to go against the grain. With Salah's incredible form at the moment, I know that everyone is going to look to captain Mohamed Salah, right? 90% of people in the FPL community are going to look to captain Salah. And at my rank, at 1 million in the world, right? I feel like this is an opportunity to go against the grain, because I just think Bowen is actually a good option this week, bro. And I know it sounds crazy, but when you look at the Wolves defence, right, we're talking about the worst defence in the Premier League this season. They've conceded the most goals in the Premier League this season. And I think if West Ham can put in that same performance like they did against Leicester at home, I can see them scoring a lot of goals against this poor Wolves side. I really can. And I think Jarrod Bowen is the heart of that West Ham attack. He's always involved, right? Always involved, always looking like he's going to be the player that's going to get you the goals and assists. And that's just based off what I see on the eye test, guys, right? So look, for me, I do feel like this week, Jarrod Bowen is a fantastic captain option. And again, I'm going to say it again. I know it sounds crazy, right? It does sound crazy because West Ham as a team, right, they're not really playing the best. However, I'm basing I'm basing what I think of West Ham on what I saw against Leicester, because I think it's a sign of things to come with the good fixtures, right? So that's what I'm basing it off on. And I'm also looking at Wolves' just terrible form and the amount of goals that they concede, right? 4 goals against Everton they conceded, 4 goals at home to Bournemouth they conceded 2 to Brighton, 2 to Crystal Palace at home. Like, Wolves concede goals after goals after goals in every single game, bro. Their defense is terrible. So that's why I do like the Bowen captain. And look, as for Mo Salah, I know he's in red hot form at the moment, right? The best player for FPL in the league this season by a country mile, right? And I know it sounds, again, crazy not to captain Mo Salah, but I feel like, look, it's the last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park, right? It's the last Merseyside derby. It's a 12:30 kickoff as well. And we all know what Mahatma Gandhi says, right? We all know that famous saying, it never back the early kickoff. And I've suffered from that this season. But that's not the only reason. For me, it's a derby, it's the early kickoff, and it's away from home, and they've just played away from home in the midweek fixture against Newcastle, right? So they've had to go away to Newcastle and then now away to Everton as the early kickoff. I don't think that's going to be easy, and I think it's going to be, again, Liverpool will most probably win, right? But I do think it's going to be a tricky game for Liverpool. And again, look, it's definitely a massive risk. It's definitely a massive risk. Is it smart to do this? I don't know. But the thing is, another reason as well for me is I feel like there's almost like a template forming again, right? Everyone is going for that midfield trio of Saka, Salah, Palmer. A lot of people have got double Arsenal defence like I do. A lot of people have got a Brighton attacker like I do, like a Welbeck or João Pedro. A lot of people have got, okay, not Strand Larsen, but a lot of people do have Cunha. So I feel like there's a lot of similar players, right, that people will have in my team that are higher ranked than me, right? So for that reason, I need to sort of take gambles if I want to gain rank. In my opinion, I feel like this week could be the week to do that. Obviously, I could captain Saka against Fulham. I don't think I would do Palmer against Tottenham away. For me, I don't think I would do that. So for me, it's between Bowen, Salah, Saka, and maybe like an Isak. Now, for me, I just, like, realistically, I don't think I'm going to do Isak. I could do Saka, and it's something I am considering, because I think Fulham away is a good fixture for Arsenal, and I think Saka is massively in form right now. But at this moment in time, I've got Bowen with the captain's armband. It's as simple as that for me. I know it sounds crazy. I know. You guys are probably going to comment down below, what am I doing? I'm stupid, and I understand it. But I feel like, again, I got a feeling, man, Wolves at home with the poor Wolves defence this season. I think Jarrod Bowen and West Ham can win this game pretty comfortably and score 3+ goals, and I would expect Bowen to be involved in those goals, right? So look, that's why he's got the captain's armband for me. But yeah, look, I could go on and on and on, but let's just see what happens. At the moment, I do have Bowen captain, and it will probably stay that way. So yeah, look, Cole Palmer as well, Tottenham away. I think Tottenham are just poor, to be honest with you. Tottenham are pretty poor. But one thing is with Tottenham, right, is that they don't, like, yes, they do concede goals, but they don't really concede a lot of goals in a single game, right? They will concede the one goal, or they'll get a clean sheet, but I don't really see them conceding like 2 to 3 goals in many games. So with that being said, I think, look, Chelsea are massively in form, right? I'm not gonna lie, they are in form, but because they're away from home and it's a derby, I think it could be a tricky one for Chelsea. I think it could be a tricky one. So I'm not going to put the captain's armband on Palmer. I think Palmer is a decent option this week. But yeah, for me, not a good enough fixture to put the captain's armband. But let's see what happens in that game. I think, look, as I said, it's going to be a tough game for Chelsea. I think Spurs at home in a big game, a derby, they just lost and dropped points to Bournemouth. So I think the fans are going to be up for it. The players are going to be up for it. So yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if Spurs win that game, in all honesty. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, let's see what happens there. Of course, we've already spoken about Salah, and I think Saka as well. Fulham away is a good fixture, man. I think it's a good fixture. I think Arsenal will win comfortably with Odegaard back in the team again. As I keep saying, they just look so much better. And going forward, I expect Saka to get the chances. I expect him to get the service. I think Fulham are a good team, but they are still, I think defensively they can be got at. Like the last game they played against Brighton, on the balance of play, I feel like Brighton were pretty hard done by. Like, Brighton could have easily won that game. They created a lot of good chances. So yeah, I think honestly that the Fulham defense can be gotten at. It really can. So yeah, I think I think Saka is a good option this week, and I'm expecting him to perform, which is why I am considering him for captaincy. It is why I am considering him for captaincy. But as I said, I think I'm most likely going to go with Jarrod Bowen. But with that being said, guys, that is the midfield. Right, that is the midfield. Let me know what you guys think of my captain choice this week. I feel like it's an opportunity to pick a differential captain and seriously climb the ranks, right? At the rank that I've got 1 million in the world, I need to take a few risks here and there, right? So yeah, that's why I'm going for the Bowen captain. Let's just see what happens. But yeah, that's the midfield. Let's move on to the front three, and we do have Strand Larsen, Danny Welbeck, and Alexander Isak. All of my front three have good fixtures on paper. I want to start off by talking about Danny Welbeck, because right now he is yellow flagged. I'm hoping it's not a serious injury. I'm hoping that Hurtsler was just simply resting him. I did see a quote from Hurtsler, and he did say that, you know, after the tackle, like there was a pretty bad challenge on Danny Welbeck in the Southampton game last week on Friday. I think it was on his Achilles, right? So after that tackle, I think Hurtler said he was feeling some discomfort, so he thought it was best to just rest him this week. So, and I'm what's that word? That wasn't like the exact words. I'm paraphrasing here, right? But it was along the lines of that. So look, I'm hoping that Danny Welbeck is fit. If we do get confirmation, right, that Danny Welbeck won't play, like 100% confirmation, then I will most likely take him out, or I will take out Smith Rowe. One of those two, because we got Smith Rowe on the bench against Arsenal with Liverpool next week. So if Welbeck is injured and we get confirmation of that, I'll probably take out Smith Rowe and maybe bring in someone like Morgan Rogers. That's what I'll probably do. Or I take out Welbeck for João Pedro. But I'm not sure if I want to do that. I think I'd rather take out Smith Rowe for Morgan Rogers and then bench Danny Welbeck and hope that he'd be back next week. Because I do like the fixtures that that Brighton have for the long term. So yeah, that's sort of my plan with Danny Welbeck. But I'm hoping he is fit to play. And if he is fit to play, it's a really good fixture for him on paper. Leicester away from home. I still think Leicester are really poor. I know, you know, some people are probably going to say a new manager bounce. But honestly, look, if you watch that game, Leicester versus West Ham, you'll know that Leicester didn't deserve to win that game. And on the balance of play, West Ham deserved to win that game. They created a lot of chances. And I will expect Brighton to do the same, right? I'll expect Brighton to create a lot of chances. So if Danny Welbeck does start, then yeah, I'll be really happy, because I'll be expecting some big points in that game. But we also do have Strand Larsen. Yeah, Strand Larsen against West Ham, and I was just bigging up Bowen, saying how good I think he is. But I also do think Strand Larsen is a good pick this week, because as much as I think West Ham going forward can hurt Wolves, defensively they're still not really good enough. And I think Strand Larsen, yeah, can get on the score sheet. And it's funny because some people are calling this game, right, West Ham versus Wolves, not the El Clasico, the El Sacico, because that's essentially what it is. I think both managers, Lopetegui and Gary O'Neill, have their jobs on the line in this game, so it's gonna be an interesting one. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Strand Larsen gets the points, because as much as I think West Ham going forward can hurt Wolves, like I said, defensively, they can be got at, right? They can be got at. So yeah, and Wolves do have the attacking players to hurt West Ham. I cannot deny that. The likes of Mateus Cunha, Strand Larsen are good players going forward, and they can hurt teams. So yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one. Yeah, but let's just see what happens there. And then we do have Alexander Isak against Brentford away from home. Brentford are a funny team, because they've actually got one of the best home records, right, at home. They've got one of the best home records this season, and if you were to make a table from just the home games played, I think they'd be at the top. But if you were to make a table or league table based off just away games this season, they'd be at the bottom. So Brentford are a really just a conflicted team at the moment. At home, they're very good. Away from home, they're very poor. Now, that doesn't really bode well for Alexander Isak, because he's away to Brentford. So being away to Brentford, I will expect it to be a slightly tricky game. But overall, whether Newcastle win or lose, I do think they'll score some goals, right? I do expect Newcastle to score some goals, and because of that, I think Isak will be a good pick this week. Whether they win the game or not is a different question, right? I don't need Isak and Newcastle to win the game. I just need Newcastle and Isak to score some goals, right? So with that being said, I do think Isak is a pretty good option. Of course, he's just come back off getting a 1 goal, 1 assist against Liverpool. And to be honest with you, form-wise, he's looking pretty decent, to be fair. Like, he's got 4 Premier League goals in the last 5 games. So yeah, that's not pretty bad. And he actually did come off early in the game against Crystal Palace as well. So yeah, look, I think Isak recently has been pretty good. So yeah, I think, you know, Brentford away on paper is a pretty good game, to be honest with you guys. But look, that is how my team is looking for Game Week 15, guys. That's how we are looking. Feeling nervous, to be honest with you guys. I'm feeling nervous because I am going against what the majority of people will do by captaining Jarrod Bowen, and if it backfires, my rank will absolutely plummet. But at least I've got the safety net of actually owning Mohamed Salah, right? So if Bowen blanks and Salah gets like 1 goal, 1 assist, as he usually does every single game, at least I'll have the benefit of owning Mohamed Salah. But look, I feel like it's a risky play, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna back myself, and I got a good feeling about it. So yeah, Bowen will be my captain. That's my team for Game Week 15. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure you guys do smash a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on post notifications, all that good stuff, guys. But yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then, I'm out. Peace.